That's your notebook to keep and have, so feel free to take one. And so what I want you to do is we're gonna write down three answers here, and or three answers to three questions. So at the top of either side, you can use lined or blank. It doesn't matter. At the top, please put your name. Put your name for me, and then number one. And answer this question. I want everybody to participate on this. This will be fun. It'll be easy. We're gonna use these after the first session. Yes, sir.
What you said, put at the top.
The name, your name. Everybody, put your name. Now, if you're watching at home with us, participating with us at home, go ahead and get a blank piece of paper. If you have an index card, fine. If you have a piece of paper, fine. If you have a napkin, fine. But grab something to write with, and just put your name because you're going to turn it in. Be sure to put your name at the top. Number one. Answer this question. If I could eat at just one fast food restaurant for the entire next year, one only, what restaurant would that be? If I could eat at just one fast food restaurant, could not go to any other fast food restaurants except this one, which one would that be?
Put anything other than Chick-fil-A, you're wrong.
All right. So don't comment just yet, all right? All you guys watching with us online, don't put them in the comments just yet, right? We'll do this after the first session. We're going to come back and play a little game with this. So the second question is, my childhood nickname was. My childhood nickname was. All right. Number two, my childhood nickname was.
That's two I can't answer that.
And question number three. A food I like or love that some people do not like is a food that I like or love that a lot of other people really don't like it. What would that food be? Do you have a food you like that some other people do not like? Number three. And while you guys are finishing that up, put something down there. You can think of something. My brother who's getting ready to come, he is a steak and potatoes guy. He told me one time I went to Malone's, I got a steak and a potato, and I ordered a bowl of steak and potato soup. This happened more than once. Oh, every time. So good. We were not raised with a variable palate. We had a very, very simple diet growing up. I'm real excited today about these leadership trainings. Now, we may not do them all on Saturday. We may do some of these Sunday, eat together, stay in the building, eat together, and do them following the Sunday morning service. We're just going to work with whatever works best with you guys. And sorry about the temperature in the room. We somebody turned off all the heat last night, and so when I woke up, it was 40 degrees in the whole building. So it did warm up. So that's good. But we'll get cranking here. In prayer, the Lord put it on my heart to be more systematic this year on us going up another level in our excellence, in our teamwork with one another, the fulfillment of what we've been preaching for 2 years, Ephesians chapter 4, that the working of the body, every joint supplying, every gift bringing their supply, causes growth for the whole body. And so a lot of people want to be more involved, and we want you to be more involved. And so these trainings will just be super fun and inspirational, educational, and a way for us to be sure everybody's able to do what they feel led by God to do on the team. Amen? So without further ado, I want to turn my brother loose. This is the guy who was my antagonist growing up. He never put my head in the toilet, you know. He did have limitations to his antagonism, but he's 4 years my senior, and I looked up to him so much. I think about growing up with an older brother and a younger brother. I had just such an amazing, amazing childhood. He was big into scouts growing up, and so outdoor camping. And we for 3 years of our childhood, got to live on 100 acres surrounded by hillsides. And when we start talking about growing up, that's what we talk about. Were those years running the hills, playing in the caves. We started 3 forest fires. we would build everything and then not play with it because we found our fun was in the building of something. We'd make go-karts and ride them for 10 minutes, take 3 days to build them. We built an actual log cabin. We cut the poplar timber and built an actual log cabin. And I think we played in it twice. But we just, when I think about my life, and the impact he's had on my life, it's amazing. And he'll share, I asked him to share some of his story, but from my perspective, he is just somebody that the hand of God has been on to bless, and he's a man of integrity. And the one testimony I could tell you that let me know of his character, how he stands above most men I know, was at my mother's funeral 6 years ago. His bosses flew in from all over the country. And he's only got a handful of them. And when they met my dad, his CEO began to cry and tell my dad what a man of character that he raised and what an impact he has on his company. And that was a mark in my memory that'll stand forever to know that's exactly what we've all known a long time. So y'all make welcome my brother Don Atkins Jr. Are you mic'd?
No, I'm not.
Oh, he's not mic'd. What did I do with it? It's back there. Okay, I'll talk for just a second. If you don't mind, you mic up. So I'm going to repeat those 3 questions. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're playing a game. We're going to do this after this first session. And the 3 questions that we want you to do, take a piece of paper or a card, a napkin, anything, and write down the answer to these 3 questions. Number 1, if I could eat, was that one right? Yeah, there you go. If I could eat at only one fast food restaurant for a year, could not vary, only one fast food restaurant for a year, what restaurant would that be? Number 2, my childhood nickname was, all right? And then number 3, a food that I love that some people do not like or love, right? A food that I eat that a lot of other people, they don't want it, right? And then we're going to play a game. So don't post the comments yet, but get ready for that. And then I'm going to take up all these cards as Don does come. Come on. Love you, sir. Here.
So, thank you. Good morning. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you all. I've done a lot of training for my company, but I'll be honest, this is the second free will audience I've ever had. So every other time people are obligated to be there. So appreciate somebody coming just because you wanted to. So that's pretty cool. There are exit doors, so if I do bore you too much, you are free to leave. So as Jay said, he asked me to start with my story. I don't really find myself all that interesting, but if some part of my story might help you, then I'm happy to share it. But well, it just kind of dawned on me, I'm 50 years old. That'd be a long story, so we'll just do a little part of it. How about that? But early on, I became a dad of twins at the ripe old age of 17. So that will shape how your life goes. Now, anybody ever heard of Bob Ross, the painter? So he said there's no mistakes. There's just happy little accidents. So wouldn't change a thing, but that fact did plot the course of life for me a little bit. So coming out of high school, went to work, did not go to college. Didn't really want to go to college, but then the addition of having people to take care of and responsibilities, so just went on and worked a few, the jobs I could find. Worked in a sporting goods store, worked in a drug store, do what you can to make a living. And along the way, a little while later, got married, had another child, and all of a sudden, I'm in my early 20s. And life kind of comes crushing down. I'd kind of thought everything was pretty cool. I had a pickup truck, had a mobile home, never missed a meal. And my wife started to point out to me, this kind of wasn't cutting it. And before long, bills start piling up and things are tough. Things are tough. And anybody ever been there where you just sit on your bed and cry? Yeah, the bills are piling up and I don't have too many options here. Lived in southern West Virginia. Back when I was a kid, teenager, early 20s, either coal was booming or coal was in the tank. And there was no in between. So that particular time, coal was in the tank, so there was just no jobs available. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I prayed, I cried, pouted, all those things. Then I got a phone call from my mother, and a friend of the family was in the power line business. He was a power line contractor. Anybody ever heard of that? Power line contractor? It's the biggest invisible industry. You think of the power company. Around here you may think KU, LG&E, different power companies. Fact of the matter is, contractors do the majority of the work there, but you don't know anything about them. It's an invisible industry. So I'd never heard of those. So my mother called and said, hey, a friend of mine's husband he's in the power line business. Actually, she didn't know what business. She said he's in the construction business. And he said he would hire any of my boys if they needed a job, but you got to travel. So I said, nah, not interested. Well, a few months later, I'm even broker, and the world's a little heavier, and things are worse. So finally I called my mom and said, what's that guy's name, and what's he do? I'll do anything. So ended up, went to work, had no experience. I'm young, I'm dumb, I'm broke. I've got no options, but I get this opportunity. And so I start in Central Ohio right about this time of year on a day just like today. It's about 10 degrees just outside of Columbus, Ohio. The guy told me dress warm. I thought I did. But from where I lived in southern West Virginia, we had mountains and we didn't have wind too much. You know, some wind, but not Ohio kind of wind. So I get there and I freeze to death my first day. My first day, they give me a pair of post hole diggers, tell me to dig a hole. I said, how deep? About 4 feet? No, this one needs to be 7. I was like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But it's possible. So the second day on my new job, they told me to dress warm. Monday I thought I had. Tuesday I wore Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's clothing, just so I would be warm. Somewhere along that week, I scraped up the last $75 I had and bought myself my first pair of Carhartt bibs. Anybody ever wear Carhartt bibs? It was a matter of survival. It wasn't style, it was survival. So anyway. Back then, you could go to work for companies like that, and the entry-level wage didn't pay much. Didn't pay much at all. And matter of fact, if the job was out of town, you were responsible for your living expenses too. So I took this job, and it actually, for a while, was almost a net loss. Just trying to do the best I could. Knowing, though, in a few years, if I progress up, if I work hard, if I'm diligent, it's a good living at the end. I told Jay and Amy one time about probably my lowest moment was really broke. So I would leave my house 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night. I would drive and get to where my job was about 6 a.m. on Monday morning. We would work a 10-hour shift starting at 7. So I'd get there at 6 and take me about a 1-hour cat nap and get up and wake up in the parking lot, go get in my truck, and we'd go work. And I'd stay till Thursday, get off work Thursday, stay in the motel Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, most weeks, drive home on Thursday. So things got really tight for a while. So I remember to save money, I got a jar of peanut butter. It wasn't Jif, it was Save-A-Lot brand or, whatever we could afford. Got myself a loaf of bread, put a spoon in a plastic Ziploc bag. Hey, I got lunch for the week, So Monday I had my lunch in the truck, all the other guys going to McDonald's, Wednesdays, wherever. And I said, nah, I'll just stay here at the site. Y'all go on. I got my lunch with me. So Monday was okay. Tuesday, same thing. We're going to lunch. You want to go with us? We're going to McDonald's. Boy, gosh, that sounded so good. Hot French fries. No, guys, I got my lunch. I got it right here. So they pulled out of sight. So I reached under the seat, grabbed my loaf of bread, reached under, got my peanut butter, set them up on the dash, found my spoon. started doing the twisty tie off the bread, and I looked, and a mouse had gotten in that truck and had eaten a tunnel through my bread. Perfectly down the middle. Perfectly down the middle. So my lunch for the remaining week was licking peanut butter off a spoon. Okay? So I'm sure everybody's had their version of that. Things can be tough. But I was given that opportunity, and I knew if I stuck with it, if I tried hard, I worked, something better at the end. So fast forward a few years, made it through. Actually switched companies, different company doing the same work. And finally earned my journeyman's status. So if you're never worked in the trades and that term's not familiar to you, it'd be like now you're on the varsity football team as a starter, or maybe you earned your college degree. For us guys, it was you got your journeyman card. So so it was good. So I worked in that for a while. Life's getting better, making more money. But it was hard work. And 10 years of hard work starts to weigh on you. And so I remember one morning, I was 29 years old, and I rolled out of bed, and I felt like, now I can confirm it, I felt like an old man. I didn't know what an old man felt like then, but it felt bad. And I'm thinking, dear God, if I've finally, you blessed me, gave me the opportunity, and here I am, but I don't know how long I can do this. But, I wanted to, I love it, can't imagine doing anything else, but it's getting tough on the body. Well, that particular day, some of the management showed up and said, hey, we need a new safety person. And won't you take that job? So I didn't apply for it. They just asked me to take it. And I thought about it. I thought, I don't really want to be management. I like doing this stuff. I climb poles, climb towers. It's a cool job. People driving by look up like, you crazy? You handle high voltage. That's pretty cool. Don't really want to be management, but I don't feel very good, and I don't know how much longer I can do this. So I took it. And it was just a little bit of a cut from regular pay. But I thought, well, God, you've sent me an opportunity, and I'll do that. So I did that for a number of years, and just last year, I got promoted to Vice President of Safety and Training for this company. So there's a whole lot more in between that story, and I tried to make it pretty quick. But don't matter where you're, get a little choked up because I'm grateful.
Praise God.
So it's possible for you. Be diligent. God will send you the opportunity. And you just apply yourself, have faith, be grateful. You'll get there. So, all right, let's talk leadership. Sorry to cut that short, but I can't do that very long because I am appreciative. All right, so just so I know who I'm talking to here today. Anybody manage people at your work? All right. Anybody lead at your church? Preacher, teacher, youth leader? Okay. All right. Does anybody call you mom or dad? Okay. Well, you qualify. So we all qualify. Everybody's a leader of someone. So I gave you a few highlights there. I've had a life of opportunities and grace. So you might say I worked really hard. You work really hard. Lots of people work hard. The person that cleans homes works hard. The person that digs ditches works hard. Person in the drive-through works hard. And so they used to say hard work will get you whatever. It will. You got to work hard. But it's the grace and the opportunities that will get you over. Okay, so it's not just you working hard. It's grace and opportunities. So what I want to talk to you a little bit about today, some opportunities that I've had to learn about leadership. And I want to let you know I'm on the same journey as you here. I'm not a leadership expert. I've had some experiences I'll share with you. Hopefully I'll give you a couple nuggets. but I'm not the leadership expert. Matter of fact, most of those guys annoy me. So my company has spent millions of dollars sending us seminars, bringing people in. I've met some big name guys that you see on the internet to talk about leadership. And we have this saying, those who can do and those who can't teach. So I've met a lot of those guys who crashed and burned in business, and now they're out on the circuit teaching. So, but there are also some really good ones too. So we'll just maybe get a few nuggets that might be able to help you today. But I'll give you a couple fun facts first about Don Jr. And maybe a little bit about Pastor Jay along the way too. But, all right. Fun fact 1, I don't do social media. I'm a bit of a dinosaur. Zero, zip, zilch, not. I do not do social media. I don't think you care what I had for dinner, and I certainly don't care what you had for dinner. But that's just me. That's just me. Close second to that is I don't do selfies. I don't understand that. But it's okay if you do. But I just never figured it out. Jay kind of alluded to this, but believe it or not, this is a fact. I have never eaten a salad. That's for animals. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee because when I was 16 or 17, our church janitor had a heart attack cleaning the church. They came and got me. I ended up doing CPR on the guy. His name was Woody. Woody had false teeth. His wife thought it would be helpful to pull those out after he had his heart attack and went down. So Woody had been drinking coffee, and his false teeth were gone. So anybody have a CPR class where you're blowing this little dummy? It's hard, right? Yeah, it's hard. Take the teeth out. It's like getting a seal around the softball.
You're right.
Now I can laugh about it because Woody survived. So now he's passed on now. But anyway, every time, I think it's really cool. I like gadget stuff, so coffee grinders, and I've read about these special coffee beans here. And my wife's a coffee drinker, so I'll make her the best cup of coffee in the world on the weekends. I'll grind the beans with my little hand grinder. Got my pour over thing, and I just can't stand the smell of it because of Woody. Anyway, next, I really don't get the sports thing. Jay loves sports. I wouldn't care if they quit playing them all. Wouldn't change my weekend. Makes it hard to live in Central Kentucky. So I forced myself at least to know the starting lineup of the Cats basketball team or maybe the football team, just so I can have conversation at work. Yes, I did live in a barn, sort of. Jay indicated we grew up out in the country. My dad built a barn. We had a pony for about 3 months, and then we had no animals, so we had a perfectly good brand new barn. So Jay and I took the remaining bales of hay, partitioned them off, made rooms. This is your side of the house, this is my side of the house. We stretched out hammocks, and there we lived during the summers. So it was amazing. But anyway, fun fact. All right, so what's leadership? We're going to talk about leadership. And how many sessions have you had, Jay, before?
Over 20 years or?
No.
First one of the year.
Oh, okay. So what is leadership? Leading.
Helping guide people in the right direction.
Guiding people in the right direction. Okay. If you got out your phone and Googled leadership, we could spend the rest of the day looking at definitions. There's a lot of them. A lot of them are right, or at least they have right components. So one famous guy, Peter Drucker, he says the only definition of a leader is someone who has followers. All right. Hitler? Jim Jones? Come on, drink the Kool-Aid. Have followers? All right, so maybe he's a leader. That's not the kind I want to be. Warren Bennett says leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Okay. Bill Gates, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. I'm not really sure what all that meant. It's a little... John Maxwell, famous leadership trainer. Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And again, we can go back to those other examples of some not good people that had influence. So part of these definitions are correct, but there's got to be a little more to it. So another one, definition. Leadership is a process of social influence which maximizes the efforts of others toward achievement of a goal. Okay, well maybe that's a little better. Webster's dictionary, and I don't know why Webster got to define everything. I don't know. That's an age-old question. A position as a leader of a group, organization, etc., or the time when a person holds the position of leader, that's leadership, or the power or ability to lead other people. Anybody ever read Simon Sinek? Love Simon Sinek. So if you're on the World Wide Web and got a few minutes to kill, he's got some great things about the long game. Lots of good things, but I like Simon Sinek. But he says, leader is someone who makes their employees feel safe, who draws people into a circle of trust, but creating trust and safety, especially in an uneven economy, means taking on big responsibility. So another good definition. Learned this one this year. I got the opportunity to go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and participate in their leadership program. They gave me this definition. Leadership is disappointing others at a rate they can absorb.
That's the parent.
Yeah, and it is. So how about your kids? You're leading your kids. You're going to disappoint them because you're going to have to say no sometimes. If you have employees, you're going to have to say no sometimes. Or I got a great staff of folks in my office, and sometimes I walk in and say, hey, we've got a bad thing that's happened. I need this, and this. And it's going to totally disrupt your week, and I'm sorry. But we got to do this. Disappointment. But do it at a rate they can absorb. So I like that one. But leadership's got nothing to do with your titles. So you might be called mom, you might be called dad, you might be called boss, you might be called coach, you might be called pastor, you might be called CEO. All of those are leaders. Leadership has nothing to do with your personal attributes. Some people say leaders are born. That is not true. It's not true. Not true. Now, you might have a little bit of natural boldness from your personality. You might have some characteristics that help you along, but leaders are made. They're not born. They're forged in pressure. Leadership isn't management. That's a little tough one to swallow sometimes. So management might mean you keep the machine running, keep the store running, but that's not necessarily leadership. And then you get into this, and if we had more time, maybe some other time, we'll talk about transactional leadership versus transformational leadership. Transactional, you're just kind of keeping things running. Transformational, we can make this better. We can change some things. Lastly, leadership is not always unicorns and rainbows. It ain't fun some days. It ain't fun. Some days it's wonderful. So here's Don Jr.'s simple definition. Working through other people. Now below that you might see when the water tank fails and you're hours away. What's that mean? Well, that's just a reminder to tell you a story. So I've got a little tiny house I built in eastern Kentucky. And it's about an hour and a half from my house. It's 300 square feet of heaven. It's up a holler, up a holler, up a holler. You will not accidentally find me. Huh?
Is it in Kingdom Come?
Different direction, but a lot like there. It's in Carter County. So I've worked there. So we're there one night, and it's about 1:30 in the morning. At the time, my youngest daughter was still at home. She's in college. She's about 20, I guess. So me and my wife are there. It's the middle of the night. And we're at the tiny house. My phone rings. This is my daughter. She said, Dad, there's water gushing out of a closet in the hallway. Not good. All right, Gav, which closet? She tells me, oh, that's where the water heater's at. Okay, Dad, what do I do? I need you to shut it off. How? There's a valve in there. Need you to turn it off. So she opens the door. She said, what's the valve look like? Water's gushing. My laminate floors soaking up water. What's a valve look like? I said, honey, that particular one, it looks like a water hose. It looks like a spigot. What's a spigot? You know the thing where the water hose is outside? Yeah. Looks like that. Oh, okay. What do I do with that? Shut it off. How do I do it? Turn it. Okay. Which direction? Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, Dad, what's that mean? Turn it to the right. That's all. Turn it to the right. Dad, there's two. Turn both off. Now please get every towel, sheet, hand towel, paper towel in the house and throw it on there. I'll be home here when I can. You know. Now, very bright young lady. She's a computer programmer. Does things I cannot comprehend. But just a simple example, working through other folks. I wasn't there. I'm 2 hours away. I can't get there. I gotta get up, get dressed, get in the truck. I'll be there. The normal drive's an hour and a half. I bet I make it in an hour, but it's still an hour. So I've got to lead her through this process. And she did a great job. But it was just so simple. We assume, especially as a guy, you assume certain things. You assume people know something that you know. Maybe they don't. So you gotta back up, be patient, and work through other people. So. One key point of leadership is you got to know who you are. Before I can lead somebody else, I need to know a little bit about myself. So what's your personality? Some people are high-strung, some people are low-strung. Some people have a quick temper, some people have a slow temper. Some people are go-getters. I'm not wired that way. Okay? I'll do what I need to do, work hard at it, be diligent. I'm not a go-getter. What's your stuff? We all got stuff. If you think you don't, you're fooling yourself. We all have stuff. We got good stuff, we got bad stuff. What's your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You got them, I got them. Know yourself. You know what, we're all a little odd, we're all a little different. It's okay. What's normal anyway? Who gets to decide? Okay. So the important thing here, just learn yourself. Know what your weaknesses are. Work on them if you want to, but be aware of them. And the more you learn yourself, you'll be able to learn other people that you got to interrelate with and lead, and that'll help you tremendously. So I got a few tools here that's helped me along the way, and some of these may be familiar to you, some of them may not. Anybody ever done a DISC test? D-I-S-C. It's a personality profile. So you answer a few questions, and it'll tell you, it'll break it into 4 quadrants, a D, an I, an S, and a C, and tells you if you're action-led or thought-led, if you're people-driven or process-driven. And you know what? There's not an A or B or C. You don't get a grade on it. Just let you know who you are, how you think. So when you run into the guy that's the opposite of, he's in the opposite square you are, you'll know how to relate. So we need to have different conversations with different people based on who you are and who they are, as far as your personality traits. Similar one is Myers-Briggs. One of my favorites is this little book. It's called Strengths Finders. You're laughing, have you? Familiar? Okay.
What you putting beside it? I don't know why you laugh.
So there's a story here. So why me and Pastor Jay will always travel separate. So I love Strengths Finders. So does my brother. So the idea of Strengths Finders. Anybody ever heard of Rudy? Ever seen the movie Rudy? Notre Dame football fame. Okay. The guy who wrote this book says Rudy's an idiot. He's lauded by everyone. They made a movie about him. This guy is about this big. He loves football. He wants to play football. He goes to Notre Dame. He sleeps in the locker room. He, works hard. He practices with the team. He goes all the way to his senior year. In the last minute of the game, they put him in. He gets a sack. Yes, Rudy's a success. This guy says, man, the guy wasted 4 years. Played a minute. He should have known he's never going to be a football player. He's this big. Okay. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's kind of the premise. What it is, find your strengths and work in them. Okay. So, it's a little book. You read it. You go in and do a little survey. And it kind of tells you a little bit about yourself. So with your permission, Jay and I compared a few years ago. and is very unique. Raised in the same household, same parents, 4 years apart. His number one trait is my bottom trait. My number one trait, his bottom trait. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to read you the description of two. And this particular trait in this book is called a relator. And this happens to be my top trait. And it sounds something like this. When I first meet people, I don't want to give them very much of my time. I don't know them. They don't know me. So let's just be pleasant. Leave it at that. But if circumstances make it so that we get to know each other better, it seems like a threshold is reached, and I suddenly start wanting to invest more time in you. That's me. If I walk in the room and you don't say hi, it's okay. It's all right. Here's Pastor Jay. Woo is the name of his feature. Woo stands for winning others over. You enjoy the challenge of meeting new people and getting them to like you. Strangers are rarely intimidating to you. On the contrary, strangers can be energizing. You're drawn to them. You want to learn their names, ask them questions, find areas of common interest so that you can strike up a conversation and build rapport. That's why I don't travel with Jay. You stop and get gas, you're there for 40 minutes, he's met 6 people, and 2 of them are now in the car with you. Different traits, okay? So tools like this can help you learn yourself. And once you kind of learn yourself, you can kind of use those tools to kind of diagnose the guy you're talking to. So somebody you're leading, somebody on your team, one of your kids. If you know a little bit about this stuff, you can know what drives them. And then you can modify your conversation a little bit to meet them where they're at. Otherwise, you can go in blindly and just butt heads, and you don't have to do that. So just learn a little bit. Something similar is a guy named Patrick Lencioni. Got to meet this guy. He's one of those guys you'll see on the internet. Got a lot of good material out there, but one of those is called Working Genius, and it's similar to this. But you can learn one of 6 or 8 categories. He'll say these are your 2 working genius. These are these 2 areas you're competent in. And by the way, here's these 2 that you're no good at. Leave them alone. And when you're building your team, you can do this part. When you're looking to bring somebody else on, find somebody that's good at this. Because if you get 6 people that are good at these 2 things, this other stuff's not going to be so good. Okay. Now, if you got a very small team, I understand sometimes you are head cook and bottle washer all in one. But when you're part of a larger team, you get an opportunity to build a team. You can kind of look for those specific strengths to put people in the right places. Last on that list, servant leadership. There's a gentleman named Jim Hunter. Anybody like to read leadership books? Jim Hunter, he does a lot on servant leadership, and my company is pretty big in servant leadership. That's a good resource. Went through a program with him, and we had to do something very uncomfortable. It's called a 360 feedback. Anybody ever have to do one of those? It's a questionnaire, and they give it to the people you work with. And before they do that, you have to tell them how you think you are. On a 1 to 4, what kind of person are you? What kind of traits do you have? Well, you want to put 4. So you put 3.5. So you look humble. When the results come back from those dozen people that work with you and it says 2.2, you go, uh-oh. But it's a very good thing. That gives you an opportunity to have people in a loving kind of way. It's just like a lot of things in averages. You throw out the high one and the low one. You look at the ones in the middle. So, but that lets others assess you. So it's just another set of tools. But my point, put the effort in. Learn yourself. Learn your team. Learn the people you work with. It'll pay so many dividends if you know going in. Otherwise, you learn the hard way through hurt feelings and maybe employees leaving and time wasted and damage that we do to each other. So put the time in. Learn a little bit about the people you interact with. All right, just real quick, learning versus manipulating, or leading versus manipulating. Man, there's such a fine line here. So a lot of the skills, a lot of the things you'll read in these could give you skills that may help you manipulate people, and we don't want to do that. So really the difference between leading and manipulating, it's all in your heart and your motive. Okay, so if in my heart I'm trying to help you grow, I'm trying to lead you to be the best you can be, that's leading. Manipulating is taking advantage of those things or that position. So be careful, it's a fine line. Just remember, leading's not about you. And a good leader is always a little bit reluctant to be the leader. Why do you want me to lead? Really? Okay. So I take it very, very seriously. All right, the vision or the plan. So we're in a church, so in church we talk a lot about the vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Same thing's true in business. Same thing's true in football teams. Same thing's true everywhere. If there's not a plan, not a vision, where are we going? What are we doing? Then we're not going to be very successful. So the leader has to articulate the vision. The leader has to have the vision. So what is it? What's our purpose for being here? Whether it's a business, whether it's a church, whether it's a school function, whatever it is, your endeavor. What's the vision? What's the big picture? Maybe you're raising your kids. Don't just let that happen. Sadly, you learn some of these lessons after your kids are gone, so you can't go back and do it over. But in the future, if you're raising kids, or you will someday, have a big picture. Have a vision for how you want that to go. Don't just let it happen. So you got to articulate the vision. Now, understand we got the big vision and small vision sometimes. So I work in a company with 2,600 people. There's 10 vice presidents, 10 departments. Mine happens to be safety and training. I'm responsible to make sure 2,600 people do high voltage, 100 feet above the ground with heavy equipment don't get hurt. It's kind of scary sometimes. But I have to work through several other guys that are responsible for the operational section all over the company. So we work in 2,600 people over 12 states doing some pretty crazy stuff. So I have a handful of people that are my direct reports. I've got 2,500 people that don't report to me, but I still have to try to influence them to do the right things, to follow the right rules, to have the right behaviors. So overall company has a vision. Then my team has a little vision inside of that to support the big vision. So there may be 10, 12, depends on the organization you're part of, maybe a lot of little visions. Make sure yours aligns with theirs.
Yeah, that's really good.
And make sure that your people understand our part of it. Okay. So the overall organizational vision, divisional visions, got to have a plan for the execution of the vision. Not just enough to say, maybe Jay tells me, Don, I want you to go to Lexington. Okay. How many ways are there to Lexington from here? 3 good ways. 13 more that, I don't know, I'm just making up a number. A whole lot more. Get there next Tuesday. Or get there after midnight when I can be there in a little over an hour. So we got to have a plan. Now, you got to have milestones. So one of my company's goals, and I apologize talking to my company, but that's where I live and what I know, okay? One of those visions is what we call Target Zero. Nobody gets hurt this year. Now how many times we've achieved that? 0. If that was my only goal and target, I would be a miserable human being because I miss it every year. I almost miss it every day. 2,600 people out there. Somebody's going to stump their toe today, hit their thumb with a hammer, somebody's going to skin their knee. Okay. So what we really mean, nobody gets hurt badly. So we established these targets. All right, we know we have 2,500 trucks on the road, so we're not going to have more than this many vehicle accidents. We don't want any of them, but we know we got a lot of exposure, so we're going to have this many wrecks. We'll probably have this many people injured. It's going to be less than last year. We're going to work really hard to make that less than last year. And we're going to accidentally knock your power out this many times. Less than last year, but it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do something wrong. Something's going to break. Sorry, we tried. But they're little milestones. Make sure if you're leading a team, give them some achievable milestones along the way to the overall vision. So as a church, you want to win the world for Jesus, right? Your Great Commission, go into all the world. Maybe you just go to one place the next year. Maybe you can't go to all 287 countries, but you can go to one more, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. So little achievable things. Your vision needs to be more specific each layer down, though, because that's where you're executing. So I can be vague up here at the top, somewhat vague. So maybe our thing is we're going to make $10 million more this year with 10% fewer accidents. That's the thing the CEO type leader tells you. Everybody else is responsible. Okay, how are we going to make sure we meet his expectation? What is it we're going to do? Safety and training, what is it you're going to do better? Operations, where are you going to get that additional contract? It's not the head leader's job now. It's gone down. But you need to be more specific each layer that you go down. More specific how you're going to achieve that. Leader and follower. Sometimes the leader has to be both. Okay? So I lead the safety group. But guess what? I got boss. He's a CEO. He says jump. I say yes sir. How high? Serve at the pleasure. Okay. You might be pastor. You got boss. His name's God. Jesus. Okay. But my boss, the CEO, 4 times a year, he has to go see this thing called the board of directors. So I don't care who you are as a leader, you've got somebody that you work for, somebody that you serve. So you got to be a leader and follower. So just a quick question. If Jay announced next week we're having followership session, would you come? Leadership is great. Everybody, yep, I'm going to be a better leader. Followership? I don't know. So as an example I have here, everybody remember the centurion in the Bible? He had somebody that he needed to get healed, and he came to Jesus, and he said, hey man, you don't need to come to my house. You got the authority. I know all about authority. I got these people, and I go, you go, and he goes, and you come here, and he comes here. I understand authority. Okay. Centurion, how many people did that centurion control? It's a Jeopardy question. 100. Centurion. He had 100 people. 100 people under his control. What's that mean in the whole scope of the Roman legion? So the Bible says he understood authority because he had these 100 guys. What it doesn't go on to say is he understood because there's generals he reports to, there's Caesar he reports to. He understands authority goes both ways. Okay? And same thing with us as leaders. So what's the leader's job? Communicate the vision. You got to have the overall plan and strategy. Here's your most important job. Prepare the next, as we say, Mike, prepare the next guy up. When I say guy, I'm not being male specific. Prepare the next person up. You know, when you're the leader, you got yours. You don't have to step on people. I hope you didn't step on people to get there. It's not time to step on people. Your job as a leader is prepare the next guy. You got yours, let me help you get yours. Okay. Prepare the next guy. Give support, encouragement, guidance, develop them. Let them do. Delegate some stuff. Let them do. The most frustrating thing you can do to somebody is put them in charge of something, give them a task, and then you keep meddling in it. I've been there too many times. All right, I came up with a plan. I put some people there. Next thing I know, here comes a boss above me going, and it just confuses everybody. Makes a mess. Give support, encouragement, guidance. What we like to say, keep your nose in, your fingers out. Be aware, you're responsible, but you've delegated and you've assigned, you've given them a task. Keep your nose in, pay attention to what's going on, but don't interfere. Unless you absolutely have to, don't interfere. 2 leaders equals no leaders. 2 leaders equal confusion. All right, how's your results? If you're not getting what you need, first place to check is right here. Okay? So is or are your guidance specific? Sometimes I think mine has been. And then after a conversation when things didn't go well, I'll go, blew that one. Blew that one. It's not what I meant. Certainly what I said, not what I meant. Is your vision clear? Is the plan clear? Sometimes, man, we can get so elaborate and complicated and all that and mess it all up. Mess it all up. Is the vision achievable and practical? Did we start out setting everybody up for failure? Can we do this thing? Do we have the right people on the bus? That's a big thing. We talk about that all the time. We have the right people on the bus, and are they in the right seats? Sometimes, you got the wrong people on the bus. Hired the wrong guy. You might have the guy that just not going to cooperate with the vision. And that's when we invite them to become part of our competition. But more often you look and go, okay, we want you on our bus. Maybe I don't have you in the right seat. Maybe you shouldn't be driving. Maybe you should be the monitor. Maybe you should operate the door. Want you on our team. But just, and sometimes that changes. Biggest thing, did you equip the people? You got an idea, you got a vision, you got a strategy, you've given instructions. Did you give them what they needed? So they have the right skills. Did you give them the right education? Did you give them the right tools? Did you equip them? Nothing more frustrating than being given a job with nothing to work with. Now, years ago when I worked for a previous company, we didn't have a lot to work with, so we had this little saying. It said, we the unwilling working for the unknowing have done so much with so little for so long that we're now qualified to do anything with nothing. So you just make do, and it's a frustrating way to live. All right, again, how's your results? Do you have conflicts with lots of people? Find yourself in an argument every week or two? Guess what? It's you. Now, we all have disagreements from time to time. But if you have heated disagreements a lot, go do some mirror time. Go do some self-reflection. All right, you're the leader. Don't always think you won the argument. So I've watched before we'll have these meetings, and you bring a lot of employees in, and the leadership's all lined up, and we'll do a Q&A session at the end. When these linemen stand up, they're bold, they'll fight a bear, they don't care. This guy stands up and he asks a question that kind of hurts the pride of the leader up there. And the leader fires back at him, and then the guy fires back at him, and then finally he, goes in for the kill. And, after the meeting's over, he said, you know what, I shut that guy up real quick, didn't I? And I you pull him aside, go, you don't think you won that argument. That guy stopped about 2 exchanges short of getting fired right there. You got the power. You didn't win. Plus you've embarrassed him now. Plus you've got hard feelings. And you might fix it over time, but that guy will be gone since he finds another job. Now you might have been right, but you did it all wrong. And don't think your superior intellect just won that argument. So be careful of those things.
People over policy here.
Absolutely. All right, so you get this desired result, and then you get where we're at. That thing in the middle we call the gap. So as a leader, again, whatever it is you do, whether you're raising kids, working in a department at a company, lead a company, you're a pastor, always be looking at what's your desired result and where are you at. So look at the gaps. Why do we have gaps? What are our gaps? If you have gaps, sometimes you have gaps with people that you're leading. Make sure you identify what those specific gaps are, or if it's a good thing, give specific coaching, specific praise, specific admonition. One of the worst things we can do is say, good job, or bad job. What I just mean by that. Now, that being vague, you'll interpret it however you want. So we used to do this thing where we would give guys $50 every quarter if their division did not have a lost time injury. So if we got zeros at the end of the quarter, everybody got a $50 extra check, and we said, good job. So I remember this one quarter, everybody got their $50 check. The next week, I had like 6 lost time injury claims come in. One guy had a fractured leg for 2.5 weeks. He wanted his $50. We had walking wounded. I finally got where he couldn't do nothing about it, and they got their $50 check for that quarter, so I need to turn this in. We're rewarding the wrong thing. We're saying good job because we got no accident reports. What we really wanted was good job, you worked safely and nobody got hurt. Big difference. So be careful whether you're saying good job or bad job to your team or people you're leading. Be very specific. Like I said, you got to have specific goals, but be very specific in your praise or criticism. Let them know exactly what that is, or you'll get some of these crazy things. Tell them what's good about their performance. Explain the gap. If there's a gap, explain them. You're up here, or the goal's up here, you're down here. What can we do to meet this? Got to agree on the next course of action. Okay. So over the next month, we're going to work on this, whatever that might be. Okay. Coach, praise, and correct often. The time you let an employee go, a volunteer go, time you let somebody go, that day should not be the first time they realize they're not doing very well. Because if you haven't said anything, they think everything's okay. I'm meeting standards because the boss hasn't said anything. The leader hasn't said anything. What, you firing me today? What? Well, I've been doing what I've been doing for a year. You never said anything. It's very unfair. So when we see those gaps, let's let them know. Specific about what the gap is. Let's have some agreement on what we're going to do to fix that. Credit, blame, and responsibility. Guess what? You're responsible for all of it if you're the leader. When your team does well, they get the credit. When they do bad, you take the blame. You know what? Your boss knows you're in charge of that group. Throwing them under the bus only looks bad on you. Shows poor character. So you're the leader. Responsibility resides with you. Now, if you got that if you have a bad employee, you got a bad team member, and you've kept them for a year, well, that's on you. You haven't developed them, you haven't worked with them, haven't trained them, that's on you. And one thing we talk about a lot in the company I work for, hugging and spanking. When they do good, give them a hug. When they're having a tough time in their life, give them a hug. Now, you can't physically do that anymore. You'll get Me Too'd and all over the internet. But you know what I'm saying, metaphorically, give them that hug. I care. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? Spanking, hey, Bubba, you didn't meet its standards again. What are we going to do about that? I don't mean it in a mean way, cruel way. Never yell at anybody. Just let them know. Give you a few golden rules. This ought not be foreign to you all, especially in a church setting. Treat people like you'd want to be treated. Okay? Your employees or the people you lead, they'll forget what you say pretty quick. They'll never forget how you made them feel. You yelled at me, you embarrassed me, you put me in a bind. Man, it felt bad. I might forgive you. That'll always be there for a long time. Now you tell me some great speech. Favorite president, don't tell me who it is. Moving speeches, can you give me 3 lines from any speech you've ever heard by any president? Probably not.
That's not what you can do. What you can do, what you can do.
That's right. Remember anything more of that one? Got a couple lines of it. But you might remember how it made you feel. Proud to be an American.
I can't remember what I preached on last.
How many times did you come back from church? How was church? It was good. What preacher did great. Preacher did great. What did he preach? I don't know, but it was good. Got your emotions up there. You know. I don't know, it was good. All right, treat the one that can help you the least, just like you would the one that can help you the most.
Oh, that's so good.
And when you do that by nature, when you've taught yourself to do that, you know your heart's in the right place. But the guy sweeping the floor, if you treat him just like the number 2 in your team, the number 1 on your team. How do you treat the waitress at the restaurant? It's one thing we've been taught, getting ready to hire somebody, take them out to lunch. It ain't so you can buy them a meal, so you can see how they react with the waitress. If you don't treat her with respect, you don't need them on your team. How about, man, a good morning or a thank you don't cost you a dime? One of the chief things my folks tell me, he said, you always say good morning to us, but the other day CEO came through and didn't even look in my office and say hi. I don't care if they remember my name, but they didn't even wave when I went by. So good morning, thank you, goes a long way. You know, leadership is just about people. It's about people. Praise in public, but have those hard conversations in private. If you have those hard conversations in public, you've lost them. You've done damage. Takes time to show you care. Just takes a little bit of effort. Learn about their family. Learn their kids' names. Somebody that you're leading. Know a little bit about their hobbies or interests. You'll have hunters. You'll have people who like to play basketball. You'll have video gamers. You'll have, in this world, lots of different things. Just take a few minutes, learn about, ask about it occasionally. Check about their ongoing life issues. Be human and real, and it's worth the investment. So I can't lead you unless you trust me, and you won't trust me unless you think I care. You won't think I care if I don't take the time to know anything about you. Now, I told you my chief personality trait. This is work for me. I'd rather just drift in, drift out by nature. So I've got to work at it. Jay, I know everything about you. Be authentic, live it, live it, live it. Be authentic. You know what? You're going to make mistakes. When you do, they know you're human. Just tell them you're sorry when you make a mistake. Don't wait to be called out on it. Had to do that the other day. I got somebody reports to me, and they got a couple of people report to them, and I had an idea and something I needed done, so I went straight to their employees and said, need you to do this for me. I noticed a day later, my direct person seemed a little off. I said, well, what's up? She said, well, am I in charge of that or am I not? Yeah, absolutely, you're in charge of that. Okay, well, you've been given the instructions over there. Sorry, you're right. You're right. So say you're going to make mistakes, apologize. They're going to have mistakes. Don't ever punish a mistake. So we got major safety infractions. Sometimes, again, I'm a safety guy at this company, so major safety infractions, and we have some disciplinary action type stuff. You can be fired for certain things, but one thing I communicate often: don't punish for mistakes. We all make them. That's a coaching moment. Teach them, lead them. Bad behaviors, different thing. Somebody's being defiant, different thing. But don't punish mistakes, because you're going to make them too. No rules for thee, but not for me. We see that a lot, The whole country's supposed to be in a mask, but I'm a politician. I can go out to a restaurant without mine. Rules for thee, not for me. Don't do that. You know what? Every day is an interview. Your boss is interviewing you every day. Your employees are interviewing you every day. People you lead are every day is an interview. Okay, be decisive. Make decisions. Don't drag it out too long. I'm not saying make them all on the fly. The most frustrating thing for the people that you lead is when you can't make a decision. They're left in limbo, waiting. So do your due diligence. Do it quickly. But don't take months and months to make decisions. Do those as quickly as you can. A few other nuggets real quick. The answer should be yes, most of the time. You're leading folks, they have an idea, they want to do something, they need something. The answer should be yes, if you can. Try to find a way to support that idea. Don't be the no-no guy. Now, sometimes the answer is, yeah, but not right now. Or let's flesh that idea out a little bit more. But be very reluctant to say no when one of your folks has an idea. Try to make it yes if you can. Be available. Be approachable. Let people know they can come and talk to you. They'll know they'll be treated well when they do. Say we a whole lot more than you say I. That's a little tell. The more the word I comes out, the more self-absorbed you seem. You should never have to remind people, I'm in charge. I've dealt with guys like that. What? You talking to me? I'm a vice president of, I don't care who you are. In fact, you had to remind me, lets me know you're not leading. Precise communication is essential. Be very careful in your communication. Avoid conflicts. It'll certainly improve your success. Keeps people from feeling like they've been lied to. Too many times I've had guys come up and say, you said we, or the guy that hired me said I would get this, this, and this. So, well, what he didn't tell you, that's a performance-based thing, and you can get up to this, but not. We get lazy with our communication sometimes. We leave out key points. We give them the Cliff Notes version. At the end, people can feel like you lied to them. Well, maybe you didn't. You were just lazy in your communication. Lazy in the instructions. And we're all very guilty of that. So be conscious of that when you're leading folks. Bubba, it's just a little over an hour. I got just a few more minutes. Is that okay? Okay. So I'll give you a little bit from my company, and this might help you a little bit. So we lead our company with 3 pillars, we call them, three cornerstone kind of concepts. One I've mentioned to you already is Target Zero, where we say it's not okay for people to get mangled. Our business, the power line business, 50 years ago, 1 in 2 people died on the job. 50% of people died in the course of their work. Today it's about 1% nationwide die in the course of their work. I've worked 12 fatality cases in about 18 years. So it's when things go bad, it's really bad, really bad. But I also know if I come and tell you, especially people working from home and all that, if I come and tell you I need to have your power off for the next 3 days so I can change a couple poles, what you gonna tell me? No can do, man. How about y'all do that between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.? Oh, yeah. Let's do that kind of work in the dark. That's smart. So, Target Zero, we're forced to do a lot of things energized just because society demands it. But we believe it's not okay. It's not okay for the statistics show 1% of the workforce in the country is going to die. We don't think that's okay. It's not okay for me to have to call your wife and say you didn't make it home. It's not okay. We're going to go the extra mile to make sure we don't have that. Are we always successful? No. But we work toward this. It's one of our pillars. Second pillar is human performance. And that's that's kind of a kin to leadership, but it says, okay, so we're all human. We know as humans we're going to make mistakes. Because we do make mistakes, let's look at where we usually make them, and let's make that process as mistake-proof as we can. I'm way oversimplifying this, but it comes out of the nuclear industry, military. Let's just human-proof this as much as we can, okay? But the last one is servant leadership. So I'll give you the definition. The skill of influencing others to enthusiastically work toward goals for the common good with character that inspires confidence. So we went through a whole bunch of leadership definitions. That's the one that we choose to follow. So influencing others to work toward a goal for the common good, keeping our character, and inspiring confidence. So a few of the core things there, and this ought to look pretty familiar to you. Patience. Show self-control with others. I know I can be very frustrating to people. They can be frustrating to me. Let's treat each other with patience. kindness. Pay attention to other people. Give them appreciation. Give them encouragement. Common courtesy. Common courtesy. Nothing else a leader can do to benefit everybody more. Show a little common courtesy and kindness. Next on our list is humility. Be authentic. Don't boast. Don't be arrogant, prideful. You can fall back down just as quick as you rose. Don't be puffed up. Be respectful. Treat others like they're important, because they are. Can't do it without them. Forgiveness, That's defined as give up, let go of wrongs that have been done to you. Get over it. Forget it. Let it go. It'll crash your company, it'll crash your organization, it'll crash your team, crash your marriage, crash your family. Give up on those things. Don't carry it. Honesty. Honesty's more than I didn't just lie to you. Free of deceptive behavior. There's a lot of ways to be deceptive. Maybe I just didn't tell you about something. I'm certainly telling you a lie. Telling you a known falsehood is dishonesty. But there's other ways of doing it. Hiding a few things. Slide this over here. Cover that up. And commitment. Stick to the choices made. When the organization, the team, the church, the company, when we've settled on, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do, let's stick to it. Another key thing is we try to draw a big distinction between power and authority. Power equals do what I told you because I can fire you if you don't. Authority says you'll do your part, what I ask you to do, because we've got a mutual respect for each other and you trust me. Which one's better? Authority. Authority. Use authority whenever you can. Now there are times that you have to use power as a leader. But those times are very small, very infrequent. Live your life under authority. So thanks. I appreciate you all listening, staying awake, not throwing things at me. It's been nice speaking with you. I hope maybe there's at least one nugget there that maybe helps you somehow. But I appreciate your time today. Pastor Jay.
Thanks, Don. Hey, if you can stick around, I'm going to do something for about 5 minutes, then I want to get you to help me with something for about 10 before we turn you loose. Sam. Sam, I just texted you those 3 questions. Let me get you a card. And Amy, I want you to participate as well. Get you to fill out our 3. Billy, can you help me out here? Just get those guys a card. Anybody else come in after we started this morning? All right, questions 1, 2, and 3 I sent to Amy and Sam. Get them to participate. And then if you're watching, wasn't that really good? I don't think we can emphasize how polar opposite Don and I are by personality. He did a great job. You need one? What do you need? Oh, hey, how you doing, Jenna? Question 1 was, you got him? You need a pen? You got a pen? Here's a pen. I got you found one. And question 1 was a food. No, if I could only eat at one restaurant for a year. Fast food restaurant. Only one fast food restaurant for a year. Which restaurant would that be? Question number 2, my childhood nickname was. And question number 3 was it's a food that I love that others do not. A food that I love that others do not. So we're going to have fun. So if you're participating with us online, this will be fun because now you're going to get to help us. And so I need somebody. Is Norma in the room or is she with the kids? All right, Norma, you monitor the comments for us and kind of holler them out at us. We're going to position some people. We're going to let you guys online help to make sure we get these people in the right order, all right? And so you're participating on the game with us. And then after each round, then we want you to comment your answer, all right? And so we'll do this together. It'll be fun. All right. That is the last one. And then the first one. All right, I need Nicole and Sheila Clark. Come up front. Just come up here with me. Just stand behind me. Nicole and Sheila Clark and Erica Gable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, that's great. And I need Jonelle, Michelle Grider, and Christy Chartier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have 6 of you guys. Is that right? We got 6. All right, here we go. So we're working together as a team, and so we want to figure these out. We want a position. So this will be position number 1, where Jonelle's currently at, and this will be position number 6, right? And so we got to try to figure out which one of these gals. If you could eat at only one fast food restaurant for a year with no other restaurants, which one would it be? Okay. So here are our answers. Bueno beef. This is obviously an out-of-towner. Right, Bueno beef, Burger King, Dunkin'. Amy's not up here. That would have been. Amy's a Dunkin'. Amy's a Dunkin'. Amy's never seen a Dunkin' she didn't want. I'll tell you that. We could have just eaten, and she'll still want to stop at Dunkin'. All right. Wendy's. That's really good. Wendy's has a lot of variety, right? Wendy's that's a good pick if you got to eat at only one. And Lee's Chicken and Jimmy John's. All right. And so we got to figure out which one of these gals is in which position, right? So any ideas who needs to come to the number 1 position of Bueno beef? Bueno beef, number 1. Any?
Nicole.
You think Nicole for now? Okay, Nicole, you slide down here. You guys just take a step that way. We'll see if we'll see. And we can reposition. Just because we put somebody in a position doesn't mean we won't change it after we really start thinking. We're going to see if we can figure this out. Burger King. Who looks like a Burger King person? You think Christy? You think Christy? Now, no expressions up here, guys. Let's not help them. Christy, come down to number 2 for now. All right. How about Dunkin'? Who's a Dunkin' gal? You think so? All right. Erica, come to number 3. All right. Let's see if we see. How about a Wendy's? Who's our Wendy's person here? Sheila. Sheila right here on 4. You guys agree? Anybody else? So we think we're doing pretty good. Lee's Chicken, number 5. Michelle, I heard Michelle. Jonelle. We're down to Lee's Chicken and Jimmy John's. Lee's Chicken and Jimmy John's.
I think Lee, Jonelle, Jimmy John's.
Norma thinks different. How about online? Are you guys commenting online? You guys watching with us? Anybody think? You think? Hold on. Rose is Christy's mom. She thinks she's Jimmy John's. We have Lee's Chicken, and we have Jimmy John's left. You think Michelle is Lee? You seem adamant. Liz thinks Michelle is Lee's, and you think Christy's Jimmy John's. Well, what's that put? All right, So maybe she is, right? So which position do you want to tackle like the most adamantly? The 6th position of Jimmy John's? Are you really sure? Who do you think it is? Rose thinks it's Christy. So do we want to pull Christy? Currently, you're in the Burger King position. Do we want to pull Christy from? All right, so Michelle, you come down here and trade with Christy real quick. And so that puts Michelle at Burger King, and that puts Jonelle at Lee's Famous Recipe. Are we right? If this was Price is Right and I pulled the lever, are we 6 out of 6? Are we? Change Jonelle and Michelle. Okay. So Michelle goes to number 5, Lee's Chicken. Jonelle comes down here to Burger King. Now, do we think we have it right? Are we 6? Are we 6 out of 6? So right now we have Bueno Beef, Burger King, Dunkin', and we have Wendy's, Lee's, and Jimmy John's. All right. So like Bob Barker, I'm going to tell you, you have 4 out of the 6 correct. 4 out of the 6 correct. So who do we need? You think it's Michelle and Jonelle. So Michelle would come down to Burger King.
We going back.
They just changed.
And I go back.
Okay. Oh, I didn't tell you if you were right before. All right. And now we have 3 out of 6 correct. Is that right? All right, you guys got to trade back. What do you think, Liz?
Jonelle to Wendy's and Wendy's to wherever Jonelle.
Sheila and Jonelle to switch. Sheila and Jonelle. Come back down here. Sheila and Jonelle. Y'all switch out. So now we have Michelle with Bueno Beef. We have Sheila with Burger King. Dunkin'. Nobody even wavered on that. Do you? She teaches it, and they have a Dunkin'. I like Amy's deductive reasoning. And then Jonelle Wendy's, and we have Lee's Chicken for Michelle and Jimmy John. Do we think we're getting close? You don't think so? How many of y'all think we're on it? You think we're on it? You think we're on it? Jonathan, what do you think? No idea. You feel good? You don't feel good either? How much fun? Well, let's just see how many that we have is right. Where's your favorite? If you had to eat one,
Bueno Beef.
where's that from?
Yeah. From Illinois.
From Illinois. Bueno Beef. 1 fast food restaurant for a year. Sheila Clark goes with
Burger King.
Burger King. How much fun? Erica doesn't like Starbucks. She likes Dunkin'. JoJo? Wendy's it is. Lee's famous recipe. Absolutely. We just celebrated Carl's life and we had Lee's. It was really special. And Jimmy John's is not even warm. You love it.
I don't like warm food.
You love Jimmy John's. That's so funny.
I just think there's a big variety in sandwiches, and I can tolerate it for a year.
We got it all right. They did. Y'all got it all right. Y'all did it really, really well. Did Nathan and Bones have to leave? I'll get them. Thank you, guys. Hey, Bones, Nathan, somebody get them in here. We got them on this next round. Did I get Sam's card? Do I have Sam's card?
Maybe had me.
All right. Too funny. All right, second round.
Your wife's and mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're gonna do these. We're gonna do these as fast as we can. What do you guys think where Amy's number 1 restaurant would be? 1 restaurant for a year? Everybody knows. Very close. Very close. Fast food's gotta be fast food. And she does go to other places than Danville. Yeah. Close. Listen, now this is not a lie. She could eat this every single day. She is a fan of the Panda Express. She is a fan of the Panda Express. All right, Pastor Billy, if you can come up here. Pastor Amy, come up here. Amy, Billy, Jamie Mingo, Connie Barlow, I do believe. Let me see. No, Connie, your last round. David Bibakoff and Liz. David Bibakoff and Liz. And Rose. Somebody roll Rose right over here. This will be good. All right. Somebody. Who doesn't want to play? There you go. Nope, he's on the next one. No, he's on the next one. All right, here we go. We'll do these real fast. These are nicknames. All right, these are childhood.
It's gonna be obvious.
Childhood nicknames. Oh, we're done. Arby's? Arby's is good. Hardee's is good, right? Chick-fil-A. Nobody was like Chick-fil-A. My son Lake would have been Raising Cane's. Listen, my son Lake loves Raising Cane's,
We
man.
couldn't say Chick-fil-A because they're not open on Sundays, so we couldn't eat there.
Oh, you'd have to fast one day a week. That is really smart. Would it still be worth it? That's the question, right? Oh, you can buy double on Saturday. We always, when the food truck comes Friday, we always buy extras for the rest of the week. All right, let's do these as quick as we can. In the first position, we need to put whose nickname is Wormy. Let me run through them all real fast, and then we'll get them right. Wormy, T, Goliath, Bethala, Lizard, Toe, and, this is for the next category. All right, and Toe. So 6, that's what we got. All right, good. Wormy, T, Goliath, Bethala, Lizard, and Toe. So who do we want? Let's just go with the first position of Wormy. Who do we think is Wormy? You think it's Rose? Anybody else? Wormy? I heard Billy. I hear Rose. Anybody with a
I think I know who Wormy is.
Who do you think it is?
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
I think it's someone who loves books.
Oh, like a bookworm. So you think it's who?
Bingo!
You think it's Jamie. Anybody? Who we want to put? We got to start somewhere. So who do we think?
Let's go, Jamie.
Let's go Jamie in the first position. All right, y'all can scoot down. Second position, T. T. Whose nickname is T growing up?
David?
Who?
David?
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 No, there's one for
David is
David.
not Goliath.
He has
So any guesses for T? Amy? All right, Amy in the second position. We'll try her for now. Third position would be Goliath? David. All right, y'all trade places. That seems to be. How about Bethala? Bethala.
Everybody.
You think it's Rose?
Billy was Bethel.
We leaving Rose in the fifth position? All right, and then the sixth position, or that'd be the fourth position, sorry. And then Lizard. Fifth position, Lizard. Liz for Lizard. All right. And the sixth position, Toe.
That's Rose. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Mammal.
Oh, that's so she outed your Jimmy Johns. So the daughter's gonna out her childhood name. So you feel confident it's.
I'm 100% sure.
Does anybody think Billy has to be Toe that we can?
Billy and Rose changed.
Okay, Billy and Rose changed. So if you'll push Rose down there to Billy can help Rose out, and then you can come back to the fourth position. All right. So we've got.
I say Billy is Wormy. Billy Bethel.
You think Billy is Wormy,
I
not Jamie.
think Billy is T.
You think Billy is T.
Yeah, I think Billy's T.
You think Billy's T. You think Billy's Wormy. So we don't have a real consensus. So I will just let you all know that you do have 3 out of 6 right.
So we
3 out of 6 right. So let's go back to Wormy. Do you think that Jamie is Wormy?
No.
Who would be Wormy?
Amy.
Does Amy look wormy? Amy, was she a wiggly worm? Did she try to throw you all off with her pulling of Jamie?
I know.
She tricking? Was she tricking? So we have Wormy, T, and Bethala. Wormy, T, and Bethala. Is Billy Bethala?
No.
Yeah, that would not be correct.
Amy, what's your middle name?
Can we know your middle name too?
Can we ask questions?
We didn't.
Can we be interrogated?
We didn't establish these rules.
There's no rules.
You think Amy's Bethala. All right, so Billy and Amy switch. That would make that would make Wormy, T, Goliath, Bethala, Liz, Lizard, and Toe. And we would still only have 4 out of 6 right.
Okay, so it's Billy and Jamie.
Billy and
You think somebody else is Goliath?
4 out of 6 now instead of 3, so one of those changes.
No, I was right.
I feel like he might
So-
be wormy. His face was very happy.
Change Billy and Jamie. All right, last change. We'll see how many out of 6 we got right. Rose, what's your nickname?
So,
It was Toe. What was the root of that?
my dad, he just, I don't know. He's had big toes, I guess.
Oh, big toes. So lizard for Liz, obviously. Just too easy.
And I'm Amy Elizabeth, Amy Beth. My mom called, would just yell, Bethela. I don't know why. I was glad when I went to kindergarten I had learned to write my name, that wasn't my real name. I was like, wait, I'm not Bethela? Thank God, I'm Amy.
How funny. So from birth, it's been this way. Oh, he's that kid in 3rd grade. He's the same size as the teacher in the class picture,
I
right?
was in youth mostly.
Oh,
When I was
man.
a kid, I didn't really hear it, and then got into youth, then everybody called me Goliath.
Too funny. Too funny. Where does T come from?
My middle name's Taylor.
Taylor. All right.
That's why y'all wouldn't tell me your middle name?
Too fun. And Wormy?
I guess.
How fun is that? Were you wiggly? Were you?
I don't know that.
Did you eat everything in the house?
I don't know that we had to have a reason.
Oh man, and Wormy. That's so funny. My nickname growing up when I was little was Turtle. I guess Don. Or I'd lay on my belly and stretch my neck out, look like a turtle. So when I was like 30 years old, I was visiting back home. My aunt and uncle owned a pharmacy. And I'm looking up greeting cards to get one to mail to Amy. And this lady looks at me and says, Turtle? And they quit calling me this when we moved at 5 years old, you know? And she said, you look just like Don Adkins when he moved from here. And how funny, I look just like my dad did. He moved when he was about 29, 30 years old. So it was really fun. She was a next door neighbor to us growing up. So how funny. I hadn't heard that name in 25 years. And then it went to J-Bob, which was horrific to get rid of. Thank you, guys. And one last group. That'd be the rest of you guys. Come on up here if you haven't been up. Jenna and Sam and Connie and Ari and Will and Bones, Nathan. We're going to do this one as fast as we can. Wilma and Jonathan. That's a big group. So we've got 4. I think we have 8. We have 8. All right, we're going to have to move fast here. All right, here we go. In the first position, we're just going to do this once, all right? We're just going to do this once and see how many out of 8 we get.
Wait, are you going to tell us all of the things?
I am. Tortilla weenies, cucumbers, Brussels sprouts, chicken gizzards, liver, sardines, Vienna sausages, and bologna and peanut butter sandwiches.
Vienna sausages is Nathan.
And
Is Bo.
Ugula.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. First position, tortilla weenies. Any idea who would like tortilla weenies? Ari. Who else we hearing? Will. Anybody else? How are we going to decide between these twos? You think it's Ira? Tortilla weenies. You think it's Ira. Of all the things on earth he likes, you think it's tortilla weenies? Ira's from a holler, honey. He didn't have tortillas till he was probably 20. So I think there's some other things on there. Anybody? Who was the other one we thought? Jonathan? Would Jonathan like tortilla weenies? Is this a hard one? Well, let's just put somebody in there. If you want to switch them, we might let you make a tweak. Who was the other one I heard?
Will was the other one.
Will? Okay, Will. He's in the first position already. We'll leave him there for now. All right. Number 2, cucumbers. Who looks like a cucumber? You think? Hold on. Billy said. How would you know that, Billy? A guess. He said Sam. You think who?
I changed the same.
You changed the Sam. All right. Sam, number 2. Wilma, come down here and switch with her. All right. Then we have Brussels sprouts. Who looks like?
Definitely Bones.
Definitely Bones. Bones likes Brussels sprouts. All right. Anybody else think that's right? You want to leave that for now? She felt confident. How about chicken gizzards? I knew this one. Chicken gizzards. I've eaten with them. I've eaten with them before. All right, we're going to put Ari where Connie is. And Connie, you swap out. All right. And then liver. Who likes livers? You think who? You think Wilma likes livers? Connie, Wilma, what do you think?
Wilma.
You think it might be Will? Have you had livers with Will? Anybody know? Who are we going to go with? You want to move Will, or do you want to, or?
Let's leave it just for now.
All right. And we're going to leave Wilma there? All right, all right. And how about sardines? Nathan. Sardines? Nathan? All right, Nathan, you and Jenna. Huh? Jonathan likes sardines? All right, Jonathan, switch with Jenna for now. And then Vienna sausages. That's Nathan for sure. All right, Connie, you and Nathan switch up. Nathan, we call them buy any weenies. You guys don't call them that? Those are buy any weenies. Bologna and peanut butter sandwiches. You like those too, Michelle? Bologna and peanut butter sandwiches.
That's Norma.
No, it's not Norma. Too funny. Who do we think? Anybody know?
What's the last one?
And the last one is Ugali or Ugala.
Wait, I feel like that was Jonathan. Okay, that's Jonathan.
You think that's Jonathan? Okay, Jenna and Jonathan switch back and put him on the end. Do we want to leave Connie in the bologna and peanut butter sandwich category? You think it's who?
Wilma.
You think it's Wilma?
Wilma's position right now.
What right now? Liver.
Yeah, I'm a liver.
I think Connie and Wilma switch.
All right, Connie and Wilma switch. That puts Wilma on bologna and peanut butter. And then, so right now we have it as tortilla weenies. Cucumbers, which Billy felt confident about. Brussels sprouts with bones. Chicken gizzards. We have livers for Connie then. Sardines for Jenna. Vienna sausages. Bologna and peanut butter sandwiches. And Ugali. Does Jenna, you guys had an O on Jenna. Switch Jenna?
Put Jenna up with instead of bones.
Jenna would then go to Brussels sprouts?
He doesn't think that's a good idea.
He doesn't think so?
We've done pretty good. Let's just see where we're at. Well, were you the tortilla weenies? Hold on. Who in here is the tortilla weenies? Switch up. Y'all switch up. Switch up. That's pretty fun. Sam, are you cucumbers?
Yeah.
She is cucumbers. So you do like Brussels
I
sprouts.
love them. I'm the only one. But
But what do you like more than Brussels sprouts?
sardines and saltines.
Sardines. That's so funny. So where's the sardines position? That was that's where Will is. All right, Will, come back down here and trade with Bones then. We'll put him there. How about chicken gizzards? He likes to catch the chicken, wring the chicken, pluck the chicken, and eat the whole chicken. It starts with the gizzards. That's too much fun. And this position was the what, liver? Was this the liver position? Connie, do you like liver?
I love liver,
But-
but that's not what I put on.
What do you like more?
Brussels sprouts.
You like Brussels sprouts. All right, you and Will trade. And so this is the liver position. Will, do you like liver?
Yep.
You like chicken liver, every liver?
No.
No.
I like chicken liver.
Which one do you like?
Hog liver and beef liver.
Hog liver and beef liver. That's pretty. And she's saying yum. Something about Brussels sprouts and livers. So we got sardines. He loves Vienna weenies, Vienna sausages, bologna and peanut butter. Really? Now who else put something out here? Somebody put in a peanut butter. What'd you put?
I put
Peanut butter cheeseburgers.
Peanut butter cheeseburgers. You like that?
Except the bologna and peanut butter, I cringe. I'm going,
And what is ugala?
Well, it's an
Ugali.
African food.
It's an African food. We gave it away.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
That's all. What's in
All
ugali?
it is cornmeal and water, and it's like a mashed potatoes, but you eat it with your hands.
Oh, all right. We're not going to do that for Wednesday night meal. All right. You guys can have a seat. Thank you so much. That was fun. It's fun to work together. It took a few extra minutes, but hey, I want Don to come back up for just a second and mic up there. Jory, take it off. I can use a handheld. I didn't think about that when I said that. We could use the red channel, David. And does anybody need a pee break real fast? I'm not going to go past our noon mark. If you need to run, it's cold. You won't be in there long anyway. So feel free. And I've got just about 10 minutes of stuff I want to go over. But I want you to help me with the importance, you said, of training the next, right? We want to increase our culture here of it's not my job, it's our job. And although right now I might be the most effective at it, or I might be the one needed the most right now, we need more people on the team. So one of the great things that has impacted me the last couple of years was something a friend of mine, David Fleming, said. The Lord spoke to his heart, your team's not big enough. And it's not because something wrong with the team, it's because God's vision is so much bigger. In order for things to grow, the team has to grow. So I really want us to embrace the understanding that more people able to do the jobs is healthy for the whole team, and it's better for me. And we don't want to have a mentality that somebody's going to take over my position. You know, we grew up in a little church, and the dynamic of a church of 100 or less is I do this at that church. And so that's mine. I run the coffee machine, or I run the overhead, or I play the bass. I'm the bass player. And a healthy position is I am a bass player on the team, and I really want to help to increase the number of bass players and work with them, right? So we understand teamwork versus independent workers. Amy's a very independent worker. My son Lake is a very independent worker. What grade was it, babe, that you got the call from his teacher? Yeah, 6th grade. So Amy had to come in, have a sit down with the teacher, and the teacher just said to Amy, like she was letting Amy know our son had leukemia. You know, she let us know, or let Amy know, your son is not a very effective team worker. And Amy looked at, she said he does it all himself. He wants to do all the work himself. And Amy just looked at her and
I was so proud, like
Amy was so proud, right? And the problem is, you know, and
he doesn't like other people's ideas.
yeah, it's really funny. So
He takes it all on. This is the whole project.
Yeah.
I was like,
Amy's just so proud, right? So, naturally, my son and Amy are actually on the opposite ends of the personality spectrum. Lake's an independent worker, and Amy's an independent thinker, which makes her an independent worker. And so neither one of them really naturally gravitate towards teamwork. And so you're going to have people in positions that don't naturally gravitate towards teamwork, but that does not negate the need that God put in the church 5 offices on purpose so that we'd all work together. And He put personalities so we would all work together. And so I just want to encourage, we want to have 3 bass players, 3 piano players, 3 people that can run the soundboard. We want to have 10 people that can run the coffee station. And that does not mean that you're being uprooted from your position. That means there's times when you can't be here, somebody else can do it. And you're going to be surprised how much fun it is to have the burden and the weight of having to do that off of your shoulders. So talk to us just a little bit more about that, about the importance of raising up, or maybe a couple details on how to.
Okay, is that on? Okay.
Yeah.
One of the ways where I work, we talk about it. So what happens if you get hit by the bus? Let's just start a little thing. What if you get ran over by the bus tomorrow? Where are we going to be? So if you got all the notes in your head, you know all the combinations to all the locks, the plan is up here, you haven't shared it, the skills, the experiences. If that all resides in you and you get hit by the bus, where's that leave the organization? So it's very important first to have somebody else as the vision, somebody that you're developing. And
Don't touch the bottom. It's weird. That little bottom thing. Yeah, that'll mute you. Hold it up higher. There you go. You're good.
there?
Yeah.
Got to be smarter than the microphone.
No, it's funny. Newer, better technology works less. It's really frustrating.
So anyway, you need to have folks that are coming up, whether it's the institutional knowledge of the organization or the church, whether it's the skills, you need to have those folks coming up. Now, I remember a few years ago, we kind of came into the 21st century, and we did job descriptions. We hadn't had those before. So I was asked to create my own job description. And I was being a little bit flippant. I sent the HR person a picture of a Swiss Army knife. And generational differences, they said, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, what I mean is I've done a whole lot of things, and I'm not the best tool for anything, but I can do a whole lot of stuff. And she said, yeah, that's cutesy. Write me a job description. But so just to Jay's point, everybody may have your strengths. I talked about the genius thing, your operating genius. So you may be really good in 2, but it means you have some competency in 3 or 4 or 5. So learn to do and train people to do lots. Identify who your stars will be, who is absolutely best for these, but also understand there's some other people that would be pretty good at those. And you can be, every sports team out there has a pretty deep bench if they're a good team. So you got your starters, but they get tired.
Right.
They get injured. So maybe the next guy, the backup quarterback's probably not as good as the starting quarterback, but he practices with the team. Mm-hmm. And so, when one guy gets hurt, the next guy can step in. Yeah, it might not be optimal, but it's great to have a deep bench. And I don't know if that helps.
No, it really does help. No, thank you. Who early on in your career, who took you? Who kind of didn't push you down, but who picked you up?
So
who saw something in you that helped you?
There were several of them, and each of them had their different ways. Some of them did it by screaming. Some of them did it by teaching. But I had one guy pulled me aside and said, you know what, I love your work. You're doing good. You work hard. But, hey, you're not going to advance at this company. It's going to take too long. The culture is this. So as much as I don't want to lose you, you need to leave. And
wow, at Pike?
Yeah.
Did he really?
He did.
So you went to Elliott?
I did.
And thrived. Mm-hmm. How fun. Now, he could have been wrong.
Could have been.
But you judged him genuine.
I did. And there was no manipulation in what he was. Now, you could very easily tell an employee you didn't want anymore, or something like that.
Wow.
But he said, your work is great, and I really love what you're doing, but you're going to be stuck here for a long time. You'll eventually get there, but you'll be stuck here a long time if you don't branch out and go. So it's time to go.
Aren't you glad they did?
I'm glad he did.
Man, I feel like that's what the Lord's doing to people at other churches. You can go to Faith Church, amen? No, I'm just the lost. I'm just having fun, baby. Just having fun. Too much fun. Hey, while Don's up here, any questions from the hour that you were thinking, if I get a chance to ask him, I want to ask? And all right, thank you so much, Don. I'm going to do just 10 minutes of getting these guys on the same page. Thank you.
I do have one more book. If anybody, this is called Lead for God's Sake. Anybody that is a sports person or likes?
I got a question for Don.
Yeah. What you got?
Don, tell us the most embarrassing thing that you can remember about Jay.
Oh, that's a whole lot. I don't mind. Don't bother me at all. Which time?
I won't do the most embarrassing.
No, you can. I don't mind. I peed all over him like every night for about 10 years. I went to bed till I was 12, and I would always ask, Bub, let me sleep with you,
So I'll give you 2. One, I was never very cuddly, but Jay was. And so I would have been 10, 11, which had made him 6 or 7. And so we were sleeping in the same bed, and he kept rolling over, snuggling, and I would elbow him, get off of me, leave me alone. And he would yell, Mom, Don won't let me hold him. And Mom just want to go to sleep. Don, let your brother hold you. No.
This is real life, man.
Maybe the other, we had a little cave of sorts, more of a rock outcropping. It kind of been rounded off inside, not deep, but deep enough. And that was our kind of clubhouse, camp out spot, whatever. So it's we're up there one night and
Spending the night.
yeah, camping out, fire going. You know, the way we were raised, my parents would be in prison today. Son, you're 10. Here's your shotgun. You know, don't shoot your eye out. That kind of stuff. Great way to grow up. So we're in the cave, and Jay is 6 or 7, and
7.
you know, don't mess with your knife. You'll cut yourself. Leave the knife alone. So I couldn't see and tell him not to use it, and I couldn't tell Dad on him. He gets to the deepest, darkest crevice in that cave and starts whittling on a stick.
I'm sharpening it on my whetstone. A hawkbill knife.
And he almost takes his thumb off.
I did. I still got a scar. I sliced my thumbnail right in two. And
So
I didn't listen to my brother.
So I took him to the house, through the dark, took him to the house, opened the door, let him in, ran back to my cave.
This was, I've told so many stories about us. I told a story a lot of times about getting lost in the woods, and you just, you help find me,
Oh, one more good one. He loved to climb. Loved to climb trees. Loved to climb trees. So he goes straight up this 100 and some foot pine tree. Then he looked down. He couldn't move. He's stuck. Yeah. He's like, Daddy, Daddy. And Dad's like, those limbs won't hold me. The best option I have to help you is a chainsaw. And you don't. So it was, Don, go get your brother. Well, I don't want to get him. Go get your brother.
So 11-year-old Don climbed all the way to the top and helped me to make, your foot's in it, you're an inch away from the next branch. Come on, he'd take my foot and he'd put it on the branch. Then I'd get confidence, and then I couldn't reach another branch. He'd take my foot. Come on, you're just 3 inches. It really was. That was my way to pay him back for all the torture he put me through. So
that right there earned you the mansion in the heaven.
Yeah. It was funny when we did StrengthsFinder on vacation one year, and I gave the test to the whole family, and when Don and I saw on paper that we were so polar opposites, it really explained our childhood, and it brought clarity. And the one thing we share, I say polar opposites, I mean polar opposites. I'm number 3, futuristic. He's number 4, context, which is historic. He wants to know how we got here. I don't give a flip. I want to know where we're going, So it's just total opposites. But the one thing we share, we both are strong in belief. And belief says you can't invest your life into something unless you truly believe in it. And so the one commonality we have is this deep sense of believing in what we do. And he saves lives for a living. And that's why that he's in charge of safety over the entire corporation, over the entire nation and international operations, is because he believes saving lives is worthwhile. And so thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'm just going to be a few more minutes. I've only got 5 minutes. All right, so I'll just be 5 more minutes. And in those 5 minutes, I want to let us know real quickly the vision. And I thought we might come to this where I didn't get a chance to do a whole session. So I may do it on video and just send everybody the link over the next week. And so we can get everybody in the same place and same pace. But we really are passionate about helping people to mature and grow up spiritually so we can live like Jesus. Not just for him, but like him. And what we mean by that, we're breaking down into categories very simple. We want to walk like Jesus, talk like Jesus, love like Jesus, pray like Jesus, and teach like Jesus. And what we mean by that is the emphasis of the fivefold ministry. That to walk like Jesus is like the apostles did. And they went, right? So our feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel. So we want to go into people's lives, walk right in the middle of people's trouble. That's where the anointing is. It's who we are, it's what we do. Some people are going to be naturally strongest at this. Others are going to have to focus and hang around those who are. And this is my natural strength, all right? So it's something you're picking up on just by being at Faith Church. You do have the ability to get right in the middle of other people's problems, get something started that wasn't there, all right? We want to talk like Jesus. What do we mean by that? Actually, we got the that'll work. And so, actually, the pray like Jesus I took from the prophets and the evangelists, or the talk like Jesus. We want to share our faith. And so I want to give you just one or two real quick nuggets on each one. On walking like Jesus, we walk by faith, okay? It's who we are, it's what we do. So when you call me for inspiration to pray with you, you're going to get the same thing every time. All right, I'm with you. We're walking by faith on this. We've been preparing for this all of our life, right? And we don't want to avoid people's problems. In talking like Jesus, we want to, and this is for everybody, how do we do that? We witness our faith. Come on, the evangelists witness their faith, right? They're everywhere we go, we want to be sensitive. Can I tell somebody about Jesus? And then in a church setting, I want every one of you to get this. We want to talk like Jesus. We want to talk to the people. The 30 minutes before and after service are just as important as the service. I could even say the 30 minutes before and after service, especially the after service, is more important than the sermon itself, because it's your chance to talk to people. And so even if you're introverted like my brother Don, who's would better, not speak to anybody, you heard him say, how you doing? Thank you. Hope you have a good day. What was the other key phrase you just said? Just a hello, just a wave and a hi. Yeah, just a thank you and a hello. What do? You're now, come on, if you give smiles, you'll get smiles. And you never know who comes through these doors that's just needing somebody to tell them hello today. And you would not be surprised at how many people that the devil tells nobody said hello to you today. So we are not ignorant of his devices. So we refuse to let the enemy whisper into somebody's ear, you went to church today and nobody even said hi. That is never going to happen ever, all right? So it has to be you. Now the people on the stage have a higher responsibility for this. Because you're elevated on the stage, you're elevated in the eyes of the people. When you say hi to somebody, it means more to them. Listen, I'll never forget the day that a 65 or 70-year-old lady came to me and told me, your daughter Summer said hi to me today. And I said, oh yeah, isn't she great? I said, wow, she's never talked to me before. And at this time, Summer's like 9 years old, right? And so Summer doesn't even know it, but she's in leadership. Why? Because she's the pastor's kid, right? When she showed kindness, it meant something to somebody. So when you say hi to somebody, it means the world to them. So say it out loud with me, talk like Jesus. Yeah, that means you have to talk to people. I mean, you don't have to be somebody you're not, right? You don't have to be Mr. Chummy. I did get the guy that I sat next to on the plane. I could tell he didn't want to talk to anybody. Older guy, really wealthy, And so I took it as a personal mission. It was awesome. I had him tell me his life story in 5 minutes. It was great. Then I put my headphones on and we both kept to ourselves. It was one.
You said if the devil's whispering, nobody even said hi to you today. When I lived in a different county, I was checking out local churches. And there was actually a church that I went to, and I didn't take the kids, I left them at home, and it was just me. And I felt like the people just looked through me.
Yeah,
like they never
like
saw
you weren't
me.
even there.
Nobody said hi, the entire church. And
Did you go back, take your family back?
Never.
Of course not, right? They may have had something good to offer you, but...
Oh, and we also went to another church that turned us away at the door because of what we were wearing.
You're kidding. Local church turned you away at the door because what you were wearing.
I didn't have a dress on. I was dressed in a cardigan sweater and
Right.
pants and stuff, and turned us away at the door because I wasn't wearing a dress.
That's all right. They'd turn Amy away at the door too. Don't worry about it. You're in good company. It's really sad, right? And the word that comes to mind there is just Pharisees, right? They're just Pharisees. And it's really sad. We refuse to be. Come on, it's a culture we want to take from Jesus. He is our example. Thirdly, we love like Jesus. Now, this seems so broad, but I want you to let the Holy Spirit put specifics in your heart constantly on this. We want to treat people better than they deserve because God's treated us better than we deserve. And real simply for this leadership team and those of us who are on the leadership team or who are participating online, it's as simple as what Christy does better than anybody else in the church right now, and that is who wasn't here today. right? If you're going to love like Jesus, pay attention to who's not been around, who's missing, what for? Are they sick? Are they tired? Are they broken? Are they hungry? Or do they need a ride? Who haven't we seen today or in a few weeks? And just shoot those texts. Make those. It's not a complicated thing. You don't have to go through a system. You don't have to call the church office. You don't have to. Just love on people, right? Now, when you can do that effectively inside the church, now you're more skilled to do it outside the church. It becomes a habit. And you start checking on your physical neighbors and the people around you. If you just love like Jesus, we become attractive to the world. Who have you helped with something lately, right? Love like Jesus. Just help somebody with something. It doesn't have to be a whole day. And if you're helping people, you're loving like Jesus. And if you include people, who did I include into something this week? Be an includer, not an excluder. One of the most painful things to me to watch is when there's a large group of people and some people start talking about where are we going to eat and I watch those who are not invited and their faces and countenance. It's tough. Now, I know everybody can't come to everything, but we need to have a heart of inclusion, not a heart of exclusion. And you talk about running people off quicker than anything. If somebody feels like they weren't invited or weren't included, the devil will go to work on their brain fast, all right? Pray like Jesus. This is very quickly. I might have to preach on this in the next couple of weeks to emphasize this, but this is our year to really ramp up our prayer lives. And thankfully, we're a church and a praying church already, but it's nothing compared to what we've already launched in January, and we're going to continue. So I want to encourage you to create a daily habit. The key verse, Daniel 6:10, he prayed 3 times a day as was his custom since the early years. And because Daniel's prayer life, we see Daniel's victories and God elevating him to great success. What God's going to do in your life, not just this church, this year is going to be amplified because your prayer life is being amplified. And if I've ever stretched you in any way, I promise you, I'm going to stretch you in prayer this year. This is a year of prayer and fasting. I haven't eaten the last 12 days, and I'm not going to eat again until January 31st. I'm going to finish a 21-day fast. And because we are taking this seriously, we are fasting and praying. And I didn't push the church into a church fast because I wanted to do it myself first. Brother Hagin said, you do it, then you preach about it, right? So we fasted our whole ministry, but we're taking it to new heights and new levels. We're going to have breakthroughs this year in prayer, fasting, and giving. But I want you to join a prayer group. And so before the end of this year, I want every single person in a prayer group, whether that's just Jamie and Connie, they meet once a week and pray to just the 2 of them, or whether you join a prayer group with 10 people. And then I also would love for you to really try to make it to all of our corporate prayer times. We'll probably have them monthly, and we're not trying to take all of your time and monopolize your effectiveness. I actually know you're more effective in the world than just being in the church. But you're most effective when you're healed up and strong in spirit so that you have eyes of the Spirit to see other people's needs. And it comes out of prayer. So I want to really encourage you. You can't come to everyone, I know, and because we're going to keep adding more. But come as much as you can. Pray as often as you can and get in a habit that you decide this year I'm going to be a prayer like Jesus. And then lastly, teach like Jesus, the office of the teacher. God's chosen method of teaching is mentorship and apprenticeship over everything else. And so there is a public gift of teaching, and so we're thankful, for Don coming today and teaching us. We're thankful for every service we get teaching from the Word of God. But the word to teach does not just mean to stand up and orate. And so Bones, if you wanted to teach me how to lay flooring, which is what you're currently doing, right? Would the most effective way be for you to sit me down and then you talk to me for 3 hours about it? Would that be? No. What would be the most effective way?
I don't know. I'm not. What you just said, that's.
Do it.
A lot of people have tried to teach me like that, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right? You say, let's go do it. Here's your rubber mallet, right? Here's your knee pad. You want to need some knee pads, Jay? Let's get at it, right? And so I'm going to learn by doing. And so I want us, each and every one of us, to keep this mindset. It kind of goes to what we were saying about training the next person to do your position well. Is just have a heart of teaching to show somebody how you do it. And there's all kinds of models, by which to do that. Where you do it. Let me show you. Let me do it. You watch, and then we'll do it together. And so there's effective models there, but you don't even have to have an effective model if your heart is aligned with this. We are called to make disciples in the Great Commission. And he said, Matthew's 28th version of that, he said, teaching them all I have commanded you. So be quick to teach and quick to love. If you're quick to love, people listen to you, right? And let me show you how to do that, all right? So I had one fun thing that I wanted to do, and it's after, so this will be rapid. I want you guys to be empowered by three things. Number one, know the vision. And so we put it up. What's the vision? Empower people to live like Jesus, right? And so get this phrasing. We've got it nailed down and simplified to a phrasing that we love. Walk like Jesus, talk like Jesus, pray like Jesus, love like Jesus, and teach like Jesus, all right? And so get this vision in your heart, because everything we do is centered around that. So number one, know the vision. Number two, know a position. Know a position. Know multiple positions, right? But we need you to know a position. This does not mean it's your lifelong endeavor or purpose. But everyone in this room needs to know how to run the coffee station. And I'm not saying that as a you ought to. I'm saying that as we are empowering you. You ever want to do something but feel like you're going to get in the way if you step in and do it? It's a yucky feeling. I'd run the vacuum if I thought I could, right? And so we want to let you know you are able to work a position. Once you learn a position, you're now able to effectively help in that, right? And so know the vision and then know a position. You know, Christy's lifelong mission is not to run the soundboard, but she knows the position. So what happens? She gets to do that. She gets to show up and do it when we have funeral services here. She gets to show up and do it when we have outside companies come in and use the building for leadership trainings, which happens a few times a year. She's just effective because she knows the position. But she also knows the position of how to be a nursery worker. So she's like you. She's a Swiss Army knife, right? Because she took it upon herself to learn multiple positions. So when you know a position, you're effective now to be able to do that. And again, we're not going to, just because you learn a position doesn't mean, oh, snap, I'm going to get stuck here for the next 2 years. Which is a deterrent to most people for helping in kids. Because they think, oh, no, if I work in toddlers once, they're going to have me work back there all the time. No, just know the position. If my 12-year-old daughter can run 6 positions in the church, so can you. You know, I mean, why? Just know the position. It's great. Then when needed, you can hop in and get away. And then lastly, and I promise to be lastly, know the building, all right? Know the vision, know some positions, and then know the building. Where are the light switches? This is important, right? Where are the thermostats, right? Know the building. So here's what the one project I wanted to do, and we can do it in 1 minute. We have our trash bags in the wrong place. Right? Who knows where the trash bags are right now? Storage room. Which shelf? Whichever one, right? It's random, and then the storage room gets clogged by people that it might be, you walk in, it's perfectly clean, you walk in the next week, it's like, what in the world, tornado happened in here? And you're embarrassed to even send somebody into the storage room, right? So where would be a better place we could put the trash bags? What's accessible to everybody? Well, in the bottom of the trash can would work, except that I found some people didn't live in Don Atkins' house growing up. And they actually put cups of full coffee and water into trash cans, which makes wet trash, right? Isn't that like, that's right up there with people who don't put their shopping cart back. And so sometimes you end up with a wet mess in the bottom of the trash can. So it's not a bad idea. We usually do have some trash bags hanging on the counter, or hanging on the thing, or underneath. There probably is one usually. But I was thinking, what about Guest Central? Right there with the coffee behind the station. It's dry, it's easy, it's got shelves, right? So how about we move all the trash bags behind Guest Central? It won't be an eyesore. That'll be organized and easy. Will that work, Pastor Billy? I think that would work. And so that means then so where do you think the trash bags would go? After they're full and you pull them out and you tie them up, where do you think they would go?
Nearest pickup truck.
Nearest pickup truck does work. Actually does work. If you know who has that pickup truck, that does work.
Or if you don't, it's even more fun.
We have 2 large Kirby's out back of the church, all right? And the reason they are not touching each other is because raccoons, we found, will climb up on one and open the lid to the other. So by wisdom, remember that 3 years ago in our raccoon story? And we learned to separate our trash cans. So I know somebody's been out there when they put them back together. They think we've got them apart on purpose. I have to push them back apart on purpose, But there's 2 big Kirby's out there. And if they're full, then there is a storage building out back. And so you can just put it in the storage building and let somebody know, hey, the Kirby's are full. I'll put the trash in the storage building. And there's no lock on it currently because we don't keep anything valuable in there right now. Just stuff like that. So it just means that what happened, now we can help take out the trash. Now, you ladies, I don't mind if you bag it and tie it, but I don't want you to see you carrying it, right? You grab a man, and it's not because you're not able. Listen, Michelle, it's because we must train our young men to be gentlemen. It has nothing to do with the lady's inability to do it. It's that I'm thankful my mom made us. So you go grab you a young man, you say, can you help me, young man? And then you say, it's out back. Will you take this to the Kirby? And if you see it dripping or leaking, you say, run, son, run! And so we want to empower you. All right, know the vision, know a position, and definitely learn the building. Know the building, right? And once you know the building, you're now more empowered. Where do we keep the tables, right? And if you see something that we can improve on, just let Pastor Billy know. And his heart is as humble as God's ever made somebody, and as ever, he's wonderful. So we'll highly consider tweaking that and making it more available. But the more of you that know. To know, I want to empower you. Don't sit back and wonder, I wish they'd do that. No, let us know, or you just jump in and do it, and we'll stop you if you're doing too much. All right? There's all kinds of things. We didn't get to sign up specific groups and stuff today, but we'll do another leadership in a couple months, and we'll be talking to you a little bit more between then. But we love you. Can I pray over it? Father, we thank you so much for all the wisdom that you've imparted into us today. Thank you for our hearts being joined to you, and being joined to each other. And Lord, this is your church. We serve you. As your word says in Colossians, we do all things heartily, as unto you, Lord, working for you. It's not for the church. It's for you, Lord. It's not just for each other. It's unto you. We want to please you. And so increase us, Father. Give us more fruit this year. Bring more people to us. Bring them across our path that we can impart love into them. Help us, Lord, to love the unlovable, to win those who are lost and don't know you. Father, and you get all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry we went a few minutes over. Grab some snacks on the way out. Eat all that junk food back there. I don't want to take it home. Make sure everybody gets a binder or a notebook. It's your gift. Get one of those nice Sharpie pens. It's the best pen on earth. The Sharpie pen is wonderful. Love you. Have a great day.